All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a question that is, well, just about as big as it gets. And we're going to do it by looking at a really old text that gives a surprisingly simple answer. I mean, seriously, think about it. What is everything? If I asked you to define it, where would you even begin? It sounds huge, right? Impossible? But the answer we're looking at today is, well, it's incredibly specific, super disciplined.
So where does this answer come from? It's from this ancient teaching called the Sabba Sutta. And what's cool about it is that it's not some super complicated, abstract philosophical thing. Nope, it's actually grounded in something we can all relate to, our own direct experience.
Okay, so here's the definition straight from the source. It's not about galaxies or subatomic particles. It's about what you can experience, the sum total of your reality right here and now. Nothing more, nothing less.
So let's just quickly break that down into these 6 arenas of experience. You've got the 5 senses we all learn about in school, right? Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. But then there's this crucial 6th one, the mind, or the intellect, and what it perceives, which is ideas and thoughts. And this is the key takeaway here. Think of the all as a complete playing field. It's a closed system. If something can't be seen, heard, smelled, tasted, touched, or even thought of, it's just not in the game. It's out of bounds. It's outside of what's being called the all.
And the text is really clear about this. It basically says, hey, anyone who says they're going to reject this definition and describe some other all, they're going to have a bad time. You can't explain it. Why? Because it's literally, by this definition, beyond your range. You can't experience it, so you can't describe it.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. If the all is just our experience, is that it? Is the definition complete? I mean, what about the big stuff? What about something like nibbana, enlightenment? Where does that fit in?
And you know what? We're not the only ones to ask that. Centuries later, a commentary on this very text pretty much said, hold on a second, this feels incomplete. They thought it was too narrow, and they actually tried to expand the definition. So you end up with these 2 competing views of the all. On one hand, you have the original sutta, which says the all is the 6 senses and what they perceive, a closed, limited field. On the other hand, you've got the commentary trying to stuff more in there. They're saying, no, the all has to also include things like the Buddha's omniscience and nibbana itself.
So, which is it? And honestly, why does any of this even matter? It might seem like some dusty old debate, but trust me, which definition you go with has huge implications for what the ultimate goal of all this even is. Let's dig into that.
All right, first up, why nibbana is different. Let's make the case for that original limited definition. Okay, so if you look at the wider collection of texts, you find some really strong arguments. For one, the sutta says the all is something you're supposed to eventually abandon. But nibbana? That's the whole point. It's the goal. You'd never be told to abandon it. Plus, nibbana is said to be realized only after the cessation of the 6 senses. It's what happens when the game stops.
And check this out. This quote really hits it home. A person who has attained nibbana has gone beyond all phenomena and therefore cannot be described. See, all phenomena is basically another way of saying the all. If you've gone beyond it, you can't be described using its language. It's a whole different reality.
So let's go back to that playing field analogy, because it works perfectly here. Nibbana isn't a part of the playing field of experience. It's not the MVP trophy. It's literally stepping off the field entirely. It's walking out of the stadium. The game is over.
Okay, so sticking with this strict definition helps us untangle another really deep, kind of tricky philosophical question. This one is all about self and not self.
Right, so here's the potential trap people fall into. We hear the teaching all phenomena are not self, and the all is all phenomena. So if nibbana is outside of the all, then does that mean nibbana is a self? It's a super clever question and it can really trip you up. To get the answer, you have to understand this one concept, differentiation. It's just a fancy word for what our minds do all day long, create categories. Self, not self, good, bad, exists, doesn't exist. These are all mental labels. And where does this labeling happen? In the intellect, which, remember, is part of the all.
So the answer is a big fat no. The concepts of self and not self, they're just ideas.
And where do ideas exist? You guessed it, they exist within the all. They're part of that playing field. They're just tools our minds use to make sense of everything happening on the field.
So trying to slap a label like self or not self onto something that is, by definition, beyond that field of experience, it just doesn't work. It's a category mistake. Those labels, those tools, they only make sense inside the game. Once you've left the stadium, they just don't apply anymore.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We've gone through all this detail, but why does it actually matter? What's the big takeaway?
It matters because when you understand the all, you understand the precise boundaries of what can be known through your senses and your mind. The Sabba Sutta isn't just giving us a dictionary definition, it's giving us a map. And what's the most important part of any map? It shows you the edges. It shows you where the known world ends.
So, let's boil it down to the essentials. Here's what to remember. First, everything you can possibly experience is defined by your 6 senses. That's it. Second, this definition is limited on purpose. That's not a bug, it's a feature. And finally, this all points to a really profound idea, that the goal might be to realize a state that is completely beyond experience as we know it. And that's the thought I want to leave you with. It's a real mind-bender. If the all is everything we can see, hear, taste, touch, smell, and think, what in the world could it possibly mean to realize something that lies beyond all of that, beyond even the reach of ideas?